What voice changer? What are you talking about?
Dude, you literally sound like Lil Dicky at the end of the video. It's fucking insane.
Oh, I'm lagging or something. Hold on. Is it still doing it?
I think
Yeah, dude, you sound high as fuck.
You took
Yeah, I still
too
doing
much.
it.
You sound like this. You should be like, oh, is this better now?
Exactly.
Cover your ears. Did I fix it?
Yeah, go back to another voice. It sounded better on another voice, to be honest.
I want it. Yeah, that.
Professional streamer, by the way.
It sounds like that Jackbox game.
Wait, now do the girl voice.
That's... Oh, okay, hold on.
Do that shepherdess.
Gosh. We talk about already talked about the most unsurprising news of the day, which is Silicon Valley Bank filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
Yeah, like if you have any info on it.
Well, just clearly, I mean, after all I've learned, that's to be honest, that's the most bullish piece of news I've ever gotten.
You heard of calls on SV or SIVB.
Calls on
I think
bankruptcy.
the other question is there any possibility that they come back at all, or they're fully done, aren't they?
Well, if they filed, they should be gone, right?
I mean, Chapter 11, that's basically saying, yeah, we're done. Chapter 7 is when they said we want to try again. Right.
Yeah.
Hello? It's doing that to everyone's voice in the live feed, so I don't know what you guys told me pretty good. I think we're lagging out or something. We're alright. Now though.
Dude, that auto-tune features. You sound weird. You sound very weird.
Yeah, that's some alien shit.
Yes. Sound like an amphibian.
Check. Alright, maybe I just won't talk. Let's just do that.
What kind of weirdo uses a voice changer on the internet?
Probably the same weirdo that was shilling you guys Dole and Dave. Maybe, you know.
I was gonna say catfishing, but that works too.
Wait, let's hear more about this Dole and Dave. Or Wall and Dave.
Well, you know, we've moved on to Re, so I can't really speak on those other two tickers. Dole's good, but
we were having such a good run.
Dole is phenomenal, actually. It's still over $11. I'm so surprised, and it's actually been hitting the $12 mark recently. So I just needed to further date those $12.50 calls, and they might have actually printed. If I would have put them like a few months further out, holy shit!
What got everyone into Dole? Like, I still don't understand. It's just like the goofiest, boringest company. Like,
I know, opinion. It's super boomer play, but it's like super boomer. But in the end, it is all bananas and pineapples. But the due diligence on it was sound. It was collected, and like it was very well done. So I believed in it, and a lot of other people believed in it too. Like you saw the results. You saw the banana storm. It was insanity. So yeah, I believe that a lot of people believe in Dole now. So like the volume is a little more there. Maybe not in the option space, but the share volume is there, and that's why I believe Mr. Ken Griffin, Mr. Mayonnaise, started shorting Dole for that reason, because people started buying up shares.
before Scald Crypto drives off the road into a cornfield trying to get into this call, saying that it was his play and he found the DD from like a year ago, and then we extrapolated on it, and then Hall of Options ran some DD on it too, and then you guys started playing it, and that's right when I found you. I made some good money on that in the run up to 10.
Yeah, it was trading under its book value is the short story, and they were pretty well vertically integrated.
Wait, you guys trolling me? Is my mic still messed up? Happy St. Patty's Day, everybody.
Yeah, you sound
Patty's.
decent now.
Yeah, I was just going to say real quick, I was actually in Japan, saw 2 cartons of bananas for sale that were by Dole, and then the following month, there was only 1 carton, and I knew to buy puts, and what do you know? It went down.
Reduced supply, consistent demand, puts?
Yep, it's a WSB inverse for sure.
I mean, that's not as crazy as it sounds, honestly. I mean, I would like more than one data point, but that's not entirely nuts.
Ayo, that was my strategy going into these Twink puts. How come these 2250 Twink puts have not printed, and Twink has just been the ultimate power bottom of the bear market and has bursted through ceiling after ceiling and is now at $25? And these puts have to cripple. The stock has to fucking cripple today in order for these puts to print. There literally has to be the ultimate breakdown for Twink in order for my puts to print.
I don't want to post as asking. I'm sorry, Rad. Has anyone ever tried Dole Whip? What's Dole Whip?
Ooh, speaking of which, I got some exciting news about Dole Whip. Dole Whip is coming live to you. You no longer have to go to Disneyland in order to get Dole Whip, ladies and gentlemen. It is coming live to your stores in frozen food section. Yeah, that's right. The frozen food section is going to be selling available Dole Whip pre-made packets that you will be able to make your own Dole Whip.
Do we get opinion? I just want to make sure WallStreetBets gets a little incentive for this Dole PR campaign we're doing right now.
Oh yeah, don't worry. I've been in contact with their marketing team since day one, so we're all set.
Just checking.
So, Masked, I just Googled what you were talking about. You have no idea how surprised I was to find out that when you said Twink, you actually meant Twinkies, like Hostess brand. I thought you were talking about Grinder or some shit. And then I Googled the ticker, and surprise, surprise, it's fucking Hostess.
So Hostess is actually a very interesting case of bankruptcy is bullish. And like not even as a joke. They had really, really, really rough union contracts for their company. Really rough. They were losing a ton of money to their union drivers. They declared bankruptcy, it voided the contracts, they got to renegotiate, and ever since they've been on a tear.
Those Teamsters, man. Teamsters destroyed my entire hometown. People underestimate unions.
This was not an anti-union statement. This was just pointing out that it happened to be a case of bankruptcy is bullish.
Nah, fuck unions.
Right, but like union problems with companies are a legitimate thing. Like some unions are good, but some unions are not. Like I used to do construction in Philadelphia, and I had a guy who thought it would be a fun prank to throw a stick of dynamite into a trench to spook some of the scabs, and by spook I mean blow their leg off.
All right. Well, relevance to stock trading? Should we?
Calls on dynamite, obviously.
I was gonna say calls on Smith and Wesson because explosives, gunpowder, and all that.
I love the leads.
Lockheed Martin.
You guys make with your mind. Who's gonna buy like a bomber to respond to that? But
America.
I don't know. Wait, what happened? People, we're no longer all war hawks. Like I haven't heard any war hawking, like war stocks in so long. You guys forgot there's like a couple wars out there?
What are you talking about?
Opinion. We only respond to the current news. We need an article about the war before we get bullish on it. Come on, man.
Exactly. Like there's got to be a catalyst in order for us to react to the news.
We're reactionary. We don't get ahead of the trade. We follow the trade.
Well,
Very late.
U.S. drone was brought down.
Clearly, we need to go invade like Peru or something so that we can drive up the price of bananas to help our Dole stocks. Obviously,
you know Dole invaded Hawaii, and that's how.
Wait a minute. The last thing we need is a banana shortage. All right, let's not talk about that type of.
I'm inviting some people up so we can talk about some stock stuff.
I want to hear more about this Dole invasion later, Rad.
Is the first Cyberpunk 2077 Corpo War actually just Dole?
No, like Dole.
Anyways, just because I know they're listening, quick shout out Happy St. Patty's Day, everybody, and I want to happy birthday to Ryan Cohen's dad. It is his birthday today. I just want to remind everybody. So, when someone is missing their dad, you might want to stick it to the hedgies today. Just saying.
Throw the doja for Ryan Cohen's dad.
And if you really are listening, RC, can we just get this over with so I can move on with my life? Thank you. The end.
So I believe RC's reply would be then tell the damn hedgies to fucking close their short positions. Thank you.
And if you keep bringing up my day without giving me gold, I'm going to get pissed.
This is a real play. I'm looking at the options prices to sell puts for next week for Altria, ticker MO, and their ex-dividend date is on Thursday next week. I'm a little bit surprised to find that the premiums on their puts are really, really juicy. Does anybody happen to have a little insight into maybe why that would be? Because they barely moved down at all with the whole bank crap. Even like some days they were up. But I guess there's big expectations down next week.
You're supposed to say it confidently. When you wind off with a question mark, no one's going to believe you.
I mean, I was asking to see if anybody had some insight why, because I'm, fucked if you ask me.
You're looking for confirmation bias, buddy.
I think
That's fair, but you still want to be confident, because if you're wishy-washy, I'm just gonna shoot you out of the air, buddy. But
All right, I confidently have no idea why their premium on puts is so juicy next week.
there you go, and that's all right to ask for help too.
I think it's probably because they recently went ahead and I don't know whether they've already bought it, but they are in talks of buying Enjoy, which is a vape making company.
They did that. That was last week, and I think they announced that they're selling their stake in InBev to cover their losses from Juul. Apparently, Altria owned the Miller brand of beer forever ago and just hung on to it forever.
Beer and cigarettes, I like it even better.
Buying Vice is a legitimate strategy. I think that underpins like half of my dad's boomer portfolio, and I would never say he's wrong.
I don't think we have time in this session to go into your father, but anyhow.
Scald, how you doing in the cornfields there?
Oh, it was pretty bad earlier, but getting better.
Oh, your young one is talkative as always. Love it.
Yeah, I love how
Let the baby speak.
I love how when Scald speaks, his kid's just singing some song, and I'm trying to figure out what song she's singing.
They're living a happy life.
Look at that guy.
What are our top plays for the moment? Out of curiosity, open it.
Scald, I have a play for you because PCT did a 50% run yesterday for seemingly no reason. So Loose was pushing for puts, $5 puts into August because their books still say they only have 3 months worth of money actually left, and they're not making any. So I don't know what the hell's going on with them. But I know you hate that company.
Who's PCT?
What was the ticker? I'm sorry. Love your plays, Rad.
Pure
by the way.
Cycle Technology. No, this one is more of a Loose play. I'm just bringing up
Okay,
that Loose
that's all right.
brought it up. Well, technically it's a Scald play that then got brought up yesterday because they were up a ton. That then Loose confirmed they still have no money. But it's Pure Cycle Technology, PCT. They have 3 months worth of cash left. They went on a 50% run yesterday. I guess there was some type of squeeze attempt because they ran out of shares to borrow. And so he just grabbed $5 August puts and was like, yeah, I can wait out their books going to zero.
I've been waiting to short these guys for 2 years. It's gone down.
Here's your chance. It literally went up 50% for no reason, so grab it all.
They supposedly have a flagship purification facility going online in April.
They've been trying to commercialize this technology for 17 years under 4 different corporate names. You can read the Hindenburg report on these guys. It's brutal. Anyway, puts.
And there's a ton of share-based compensation for all the CEOs and stuff. They've just been paying themselves all this time.
Yeah, Luce said they were on his top 5 list to short or something. He went on here yesterday.
I'm not even clear on what they do, and I just went through 2 articles on them.
This current version of the company has been trying for 5 years, so yeah. And again, their cash went from 5 months to burn to 3 after this past earnings, so it looked even worse.
Sounds to me like they manufacture golden parachutes.
Showers?
Now, of course, you all know what this means. We're going to get puts. I already have, and it's going to go to $15 because screw us, right?
Nah, I got you, dog. I'm gonna go buy 5 shares, so it'll just tank.
You're a true American hero.
Yeah, this is how you hedge your bets, everyone. You buy puts, and then you go and you buy shares, so that way the share price drops and your puts print.
Yeah, I have no idea what the hell this company does. I can't find it out for the life of me. Puts all day.
They do some type of water cleaning technology, but there's been a lot of questions about whether or not it actually does anything. Like, a lot of questions.
Yeah, that's such a funky industry to get into anyway, because water purification facilities only ever get upgraded when regulation forces you to. I mean, I designed potable water facilities for a couple of years, and now I permit water pollution control permits. So it's not, there isn't a whole lot of like capital market for it unless you're doing oil and gas, so they can cut down their hauling to site discharge, and this doesn't look like that.
And you have no place for us? Any good
I'd
companies
like to
that
take potent potables for 1,000, Alex.
Is Ecolabs one of their competitors as far as water purification goes? Is that what we're talking about? Like that kind of a water purification? Someone know? Because Ecolab does that. They purify water. Or they have a division that does.
Yeah, I believe it was Slut Spoiler who brought that up to us. Ecolab is
yeah.
actually working with TSM right now. But yeah, go
Gotcha.
ahead. Go ahead, Human.
No, I'm just asking if it's like on that same level as like an Ecolab, because you're right. Slut Spoiler has a good DD on that.
Are we referring to water purification as in large scale water purification for cities or home appliances?
Brita is better.
There's Pentair as well.
Piece I just read on them said they do polymer recycling.
Are we still talking about PureCycle? What do you guys want to know
Yeah.
about it? I've done a ton of research. So basically, these guys bought this technology 17 years ago from Procter & Gamble to recycle plastic. Turns out there might have been a reason Procter & Gamble was selling the technology, because it's taken them basically 17 years and 4 different companies to figure out a way to get it online. They supposedly bought a facility in southern Ohio, which I think they actually did purchase, but I'm not entirely sure how much work is actually being done there. Maybe if I get a chance, I could drive there and just ask them. Last time I did a lot of research and talked about these guys a lot, their chief financial officer actually reached out to me and asked me if I was a journalist. I thought that was a little weird and very defensive. Basically, they're sitting on a ton of cash from their SPAC, an ungodly amount of cash from when they SPAC'd this company. And I was like, man, there's no reason to buy puts on these guys. I got to wait until they burn through this mountain of cash that they got from their SPAC. Well, guess what? They burned through all of it. They got a few months left.
Yeah, it sounds
They're
like
only
they look golden
making-
parachutes to me.
Yeah. Now, they have started to actually produce product, which is impressive. This is the first time they've actually got the process, as far as I know, to actually function. But at the same time, my thoughts are it's too little too late. If you look at their burn rate versus their expected revenue, it's going down. It's going down.
Now, I think that facility in southern Ohio is the one that I just saw in an article where allegedly it's going online next month. But yeah, it's up to you whether or not you believe that.
Well, I knew that it wasn't really working because I had actually pulled all the county permits and they had never got the water lines ran to it. And I'm like, that seems a little weird. Why would you buy a building and not have water? Seems like something you might need, especially for recycling, which is a very water-intensive process typically.
Clever boy. That was actually a really good move to pull the permits like that.
Yeah, I'm a little autistic sometimes.
I respect that as a little permit jockey who has like a pointless job.
Did we talk about Bad Boy R's play on GitLab? Have we talked about that yet? Because that play is dope.
Not yet. I want to hear it.
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right, good morning, everybody. Thanks for giving me the floor. GitLab got acquired by Google, We spotted the filing and jumped in, and I am currently looking to get. Well, actually, I'm already in it, and got in at a. Hold on a second. Let me pull up the chart. I got in at GitLab at 30. Here it is. 55 call in April. From looking at the chart, it looks like it's coming from the bottom, and it's got some momentum behind it. So I was looking at the wrong ticker. My bad. GitLab is actually I got a 50 call 421.
Looks like it has pretty strong support where it bottomed out, but I'm concerned that you got confused there.
It's a 50 call 421.
Yeah, the other thing here is that my thought is this is a strategic acquisition by Google to compete with Microsoft as far as Microsoft owning GitHub. And this is like a competing product to assist programmers. So maybe Google is going to, so far they've bought shares. Did they announce an actual official merger? Like an official buyout? Bad Boyardy? Or
Yeah, like what exactly did you spot? You said we spotted something and then did something. What did you spot?
So I got an alert that Google was acquiring GitLab, and then we went to the SEC filings and then looked at the filings to verify it pretty much. And I also sent that over to a couple other people as well to look at just to make sure we're seeing the same thing. And once it was verified that that was what was going on, jumped in and grabbed some calls.
I don't think it was verified that they're acquiring them. They just bought a lot of shares.
I can urge you to just take a look at the SEC filings.
Yeah, according to the filings, it looks like they're making a bid for them. Now, the share purchase will go through either way, right? Like, they own the shares. They just own them. But I think, especially with big tech, a lot of these acquisitions have to be reviewed first. But I think they file for the intent to do the merger.
Yeah, I believe Google right now is getting sued by somebody for what is it? The All In podcast is talking about this last week. They were railing on the the double click acquisition or whatever, their advertising auction place or whatever. But Microsoft bought GitHub. There's no way that they can say that GitLab would be anti-competitive or whatever. So I don't see how this one gets blocked. That being said, I've been in software for almost 20 years. I've never used GitLab in my life, but I've used GitHub every single place I've gone to. So
Also, ticker symbol Thomas Franklin Indigo. I'm sorry, Thomas Franklin Charles. It's a bank play that we think is kind of undervalued.
Yeah, you use the royal we a lot.
So I was talking to
Smite Muffin, what do you got for us, buddy? Oh, sorry, I saw Smite Muffin start talking. You got plays for us, buddy?
I was just gonna.
Sorry.
Muffin, or go ahead.
My fat ass thumb accidentally hit the unmute button on my mic. I apologize.
I was just gonna say that I got a prediction that these banks that are basically don't have tech, some old school tech, that they're basically going to not go anywhere at the end of the day. It's pure speculation, but I feel like the banks that are kind of relevant within the tech space, because I feel like everything's gonna go digital. Blockchain, crypto coins versus blockchain, bank coin. We could argue country coin. So I feel like JPM and BAC are going to pick up some momentum in the coming weeks. As you guys might know, the Bank of Japan did buy a lot of U.S. debt over the week, literally just yesterday. So, but that's my 2 cents on that.
Nice. Yeah, I'm not so sure about ticker WFC. Wells Fargo might come out on top with JPM from all this money they're throwing around. So That's kind of interesting.
I don't think Wells Fargo is going to do well. They have reputation risk, and they're not really managed well in the last 10 years. Just me personally.
They have a lot of property they could sell in an emergency in like downtown San Francisco, Oakland, and LA.
Yeah, fire sales don't encourage me to invest into companies.
No, but we might be seeing the death of brick and mortar banking. I think is what everyone's trying to get to, because we have way too many banks, right? So
Yeah,
I think like these are going to get gobbled up, right?
Well, Wells is quite large, but something to consider. So at the start of the talk, we brought up that these large banks were bailing out First Republic. They're literally like pushing cash into the depository coffers of First Republic to keep it afloat. Kind of why would large banks do that? Because they're worried about contagion risk, systemic risk. But something to consider here, what if one of those large banks was in particular trouble and they got together and realized that if one of the big guys falls, then there's a really big problem and there will be a huge crisis of confidence? Because right now it's sort of people, in some respects they can say it's contained to the smaller banks, to the regionals, but one of these large banks, like a Citi or a Wells, one of the like weaker of the large banks, if they had a problem, it'd be a really bad look for all the big banks and just banking in general. So
I agree. I think we'll find out over the weekend, right? They're not going to tell us today. Come on, it's too easy.
Yeah.
Don't they also not have any risk? I mean, they literally went and put JP Morgan put $5 billion or whatever into First Republic, right? I mean, they're one of the big banks that helped out. But
not just JP Morgan. It was 11 other banks, and I think 6 of them put $5 billion in. Wells Fargo and I think PNC put in $2.5 billion. It was like 11 banks that came up with $50 billion for FRC.
Right.
It was all
What
big
I'm saying
ones.
is there's no risk involved in that to them. Like they're backed. It's technically uninsured, but the FDIC said that they would back any of those deposits.
All right, boys, 15 minutes left. Let's hit some plays up. Tandy, I know you got something for us, man. Hit us. Putting you on the spot. Anybody? Sir Hunt's a stock? Who's got a play?
I actually got First Republic puts right now, and I bought 25 strike calls yesterday before the banks rode in on their white horses.
Please try and do your ticker and then go into your play so we don't have to do it after, okay? Hit us. Keep going. 15 minutes. Let's go, boys. We gotta make some money today, right? Come on.
Yeah, it's St. Patrick's Day. Gotta get some luck on our side.
We're not gonna get. You guys have been. All you bears have been waiting for this opportunity, and then you're just coming in here like babbling about like non-bank plays. Let's go. What's the
bananas?
Plays, boys?
Are your
bananas? I mean, that was my fault.
Didn't I just say First Republic?
Yeah. Are your FRC puts expiring today or when?
Oh, 100%.
Dude, you told us your portfolio. I don't know if you need any more plays from here.
Okay, I got. All right, I got you then. All right, here's my plays for the day. I'm gonna hold on. We're gonna go into the Tau stocks for November 17th. They have some new strikes opening up. I'm gonna go in the money here today. I'm gonna go for the 0.10s and the 0.50s. I'm gonna follow that up with the GameStop as well. That's ticker GME. I'm looking to get some $15 in the money calls for that expiring November 17th on that new strike date. And also, I'm playing the Activision merger. I'm going to go in on those new November strikes. They haven't become available. I'm going to go for the 8250s. It looks like going for about $8. So that's my plays. Let's
Mr.
go,
Zombie
guys.
Bear?
Make some money.
I like Elon
Yes, sir.
Musk.
Yes, sir.
I like Elon Musk, but he says a lot during his conference call, and so it's just bringing me some PTSD. If you could avoid saying all the time, Mr. Zombie Bear, appreciate that.
Wait, is my voice messed up again? Oh.
No, I'm just playing at you. Never mind.
Oh, you got me, dude. Stop. Hey, good luck, everyone. Happy St. Patty's Day.
Actually, Zombie, I thought you were somebody else. Yeah, your voice sounded like the most normal the whole talk. But you too have a happy St. Patty's Day.
Because I haven't taken my pre-workout yet.
What I'm looking for today is to see if financial institutions go down further, because if they do, I think it's an opportunity to actually sell some puts on them at further lower strikes. That way, if they execute, you essentially are buying the dip.
On what ticker, Jefferson? Sorry, bud. Love you.
Things like PAC-W, FRC, Wall, FHN, if that goes down. I mean, there's a massive amount of lists of financial institutions that this same kind of play can be done on.
Should we put puts on Robinhood, seeing how they're undoing everybody's gains for, was it SI and SVIB? Is that true? We should probably short Hood a little bit.
Well, what
No.
That's happy broker.
Whoa. They just announced that you can exercise, and it'll send your account short the shares on Silicon Valley Bank, probably because they're getting sued by a shit ton of people.
Yeah, I saw that last night. That's why I wanted to bring it up with y'all. Good call, Skull.
Yeah, I would hold off on those puts on Hood. I mean, if you want to get puts on Hood, me and probably a bazillion other people are willing to sell them to you, but it's not that I like Robinhood either.
They have ER coming up, so we'll talk about that in the Discord. Yeah, do we have a Discord? Do you know?
Yeah, speaking of Discord, if you don't know, Opinion posted a sticky. It has a Discord link in it. If you're not joining, I got to ask you why. Because these talks are going away. That's right. When you wake up in the morning and you think to yourself, man, I wish I could listen to a WallStreetBets talk, you're not going to find it on Reddit, but you will find it on Discord. So go ahead, check out the comment section. If you're listening to this after hours, not live, then go ahead, go to the comment section of this talk, click the Discord link, and join today.
Okay, back to strategy. Is anyone shorting Goldman?
I tend to agree with this idea, but can you say more about your play here?
I'm just getting the data.
Wow, that was okay. No comment.
All right, I'm not sure.
Okay, so I've got a play. It's Synovus Financial, ticker SNV, Sierra November Victor. So these people are based out of Columbus, Georgia, or something like that. They think that they're a bank, but actually it looks more like they're a credit facility for a rent-a-center. Their books are god-awful. Just absolute garbage loans on garbage things, like a really high risk. They've popped up pretty high on the list of banks that have a shortfall, and they're a regional. So I'm going to buy puts.
Scald, is that the one that says that their deposits are not FDIC insured? Is that the one that has a disclaimer on the website that?
No, that's one of the banks that I bank with, which is an incredibly based bank because they're not a bank. But that's why I like banks like them. Anyway.
So I have a play. I'm going to look into FDX, that's FedEx. They just had an earnings yesterday, and it looks like despite their demand weakness, they've managed to beat earnings by their cost cutting, and they have really good forward-looking guidance. I'm not sure what call I'm going to look into. I'm still looking into this, but depending on how today goes, I might be looking into buying some short-dated puts as well.
Good morning, guys. Happy St. Patty's Day. Yeah, I got fucked on my FDX puts last night, but I kind of did like a YOLO play on it on 192 strike. I'm sure they're going to expire worthless today, which is fine. I've been bag heavy on Intel all week, so shout out to all the Intel boys out there making money. Expecting a dip today, maybe just a bit. I'm going to be picking up some more call spreads in the 30 to 32 into next week. Yeah, man, let's make some fucking money. But I mean, I can
Let's
for that
go.
FedEx play. Yeah, that's a good idea on them calls.
I second that. I also got fucked on FedEx puts. I don't think the calls are a good idea. I think it's going to go back down. I think it went up way too fucking much for what they reported. Before the end of the day today, like towards the end, I'm going to be grabbing a few flyer puts on BOH, MCB, XLF, Zion, and probably this SVN thing now that I heard about that.
So I'm also actually betting against Coinbase right now. As of right now, I'm direct shorting the shares, but puts maybe on the table for a long play, specifically because the FDIC. One of the reasons that they targeted Signature was because it was a crypto financial institution. So the fact that the regulators are targeting crypto financial institutions is actually a very bearish thing.
I think that would be the case if they were actually going to go after Coinbase, but I got to be honest, man, Coinbase has been greasing the fuck out of these politicians for like, I don't know, since the beginning of their inception.
Yeah, I think the U.S. government had seized a bunch of Bitcoin over time or whatever, and didn't they transfer it into Coinbase wallet recently?
They transferred 10,000 of their 40,000 Bitcoins, unlike El Salvador and the other developing nations that have to pay for their Bitcoin. A powerful and mighty nation like America just takes it, which is why we've got our 40,000 Bitcoin for free.
Nice. Yeah, I think shorting Coinbase is like putting your face on a buzzsaw right now. Have you seen crypto lately?
Yeah.
Well, and
I do feel like I'm driving into a wall right now, but I think it's going to push through. It might be a month or so, though.
What's the interest on that short position? Like the interest rate?
It's like 2% or lower.
Oh, what?
Were you expecting it to be higher?
Yeah.
It's not.
Nobody steals my lucky charms. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. What's the plays? You guys are gonna be yapping in Discord about play. Come on, 5 minutes. All right, 6.
All right,
Stop
so
it, chat. I can't
I
count.
don't know if he's there, but I have been repping the defense stocks. So NOC, RTX, I like them. I've been buying them over the last week. I'm gonna.
General Dynamics. You like them?
I actually
GD.
have Dynamics in another portfolio. I have like a whole constrained portfolio. So yeah, I do have it, but not in my tradable account.
Also, Rheinmetall reported yesterday good earnings, but I don't know why the stock is going down. But in Europe, everything is going down today.
Shorting Goldman.
Yeah, this is the first bearish sign I've seen on Rheinmetall in basically almost 5 months. I mean, it pretty much just went up for like the last 5 months.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see.
Yeah. I bought it at 190. Now it went to 260, but now it's again at 240. And it seems to be going down the next days.
This is kind of a play. Be careful because next week is the Federal Reserve's reporting of a rate increase or how they're going to handle it.
What day is that?
Is that Wednesday?
Second, I think.
22nd. Sorry, Jefferson.
Oh, no,
And
no.
and the market's priced in what? No rate increase now? Is that what the market's priced? What's that thing where you can see the predictions?
It's back to a quarter, Scald.
Yeah, I think it's a quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't moved up enough for it to be zero. It's got to be. They got to still be seeing something coming.
And the way I look at it, anything that they, with the Federal Reserve stepping in and doing that emergency funding for the depositors, that is a version of quantitative easing too. So they have to raise at some point. They kind of cancel each other out, even if the inflation data is less, but it was kind of in line. So they got to at least do a little bit of a raise, in my opinion.
If anybody's looking for a play, it's probably a day late, but puts on Rite Aid. They were one that like a week or two ago, Kathy Wood was like, oh, they're going up. And now they've gotten sued. And I'm from the region where Rite Aid operates. They're nothing special as a pharmacy, and they've been slowly dying for like 20 years. But I think now they're finally getting the axe to fall.
What's
I agree with that.
What's
I actually have a play. I actually have a play on Rite Aid.
RAD is the ticker, if I didn't say.
Robert Allen David. I got a play that goes all the way out to July. 3 puts at $85 or 85 cents. $3 puts. I'm not in it yet, but I'm looking to get in.
You're probably right.
And Rite Aid and Walgreens.
Anybody doing zero days today?
Step over anybody. Hold on, just 1 second.
390 calls on the SPY. Whoa,
Who's the one?
0 DT.
We just had someone talk before. Who was that before? Feeling fun?
That was feeling fun.
Go ahead.
Sorry, guys. Good morning. Happy St. Patty's. It's the first time I spoke this morning. So, yeah, and Rite Aid and Walgreens might be looking at further, like federal suits due to their going along with the red states and saying, oh, we're just not going to sell certain drugs in certain states because they're red, basically.
I thought that was kind of a nothing burger on Walgreens, and I thought they just said, well, we're not going to sell the stuff that's illegal in those particular states. And then Gavin Newsom got his panties in a bunch over it.
There's different opinions on that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, correct
and
me
Rite
if I'm
Aid
wrong.
and Rite Aid hasn't said that.
So it's not that they're illegal, it's that they might become illegal, and the states are claiming that they will put in retroactive lawsuits should they become illegal.
What? How does a retroactive lawsuit work?
Yeah, does it make sense? Not necessarily, but that's what they're claiming they'll attempt to do. And so Rite Aid's just getting ahead of it and saying, we're just not going to do it. We don't need to deal with this crap.
I mean, it's also, that doesn't make any sense. All right.
Okay, Scott, we didn't get you. But anyway, that's like just deciding not to serve half of the population, or a third of the population is not generally a good business decision in my book.
5 seconds. And thank you for clarifying on that.
So what I was saying earlier, someone asked if we're doing any 0 DTEs. I'm doing SPY 390 calls.
Steel looking good today. X looking solid. Shout out to Georgia.
And quiet descends as the markets have opened. It's like a reverse bell. It's like the chat gets quiet. And that's how you know markets have opened.
I'm just watching Pure Cycle go down. I'm hoping it keeps going.
So this isn't one that I'm going to do, but somebody who perhaps has some more wrinkles than even me and other people. The premiums are actually kind of interesting for April on cake. Cheesecake Factory.
Is there a reason we feel good about Cheesecake Factory, or we just like the premiums?
I just think it might be good for a theta play.
Well, everyone, since markets are open, I think this would probably be a good time to head on over to the Discord. Conversations already started. But we can continue conversations in both areas, but...
I mean, I barely understand their menu, so I'm not going to speak on their options.
Their menu's great. You just put one of every single dish that has ever been invented.
Yeah, fuck working in that kitchen.
And prepare to have a conversation with like 8 people that you don't know just because you can't stop listening to them.
Alright, well, I guess Reddit Talk can't hear me, I guess, but for you who are listening in on stream, I'm going to transition us over to Discord in just a second.
The restaurant's kind of a dumpster fire.
I don't dislike Cheesecake Factory, but I think their menu has way, way, way too many options.
Yeah, I mean, you got to consider inventory and storage costs for all that food, right? Like, you know, you go to your average restaurant and they have a much more limited menu for a reason.
Well, the question becomes, Scald, are those dishes that change up their inventory management, or is it just variations of some type of pasta, some type of chicken, and then I cook it differently and add on a different sauce? You know what I mean?
Yeah, they must have like 2,000 ingredients in there on their menu.
Oh. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt. I'm not sure if you could have heard me earlier, but we are all transitioning over to Discord. So meet us there if you want more. Sorry to jump in and cut the conversation.
No, Viva la Revolution. Stay here, bros. Everyone stay here. Don't listen.
Wait, are we staying or are we moving?
No, we're definitely moving.
Who is opinion to tell us what to do? It's not like he runs the sub. Viva la Revolution.
The man, dude, Google and some of the other stocks are really fucking moving.
Shout out to all the Google guys. I know they were trying to push 100 yesterday, and they got it, baby. They got it. So happy.
No idea why.
Yeah, and I second
Are you
that.
selling? Go ahead, sorry.
I was just saying the GitHub, the Google GitHub play. Yeah, I second what someone else said. I work in IT, and literally everyone has a GitHub account, but not GitLab necessarily.
Also, I looked at the filings. They just bought a bunch of shares. There's no like acquisition necessarily. The Google Ventures arm of Google, they bought a bunch of shares on the dip. You should see their buy prices though. They're fucking crazy. It's like $28. I don't even see the stock go down that much. The lowest I have it is like 30 or 29 or something. They have really good timing.
Hello.
But they bought a fuck ass ton of shares.
Hi.
They bought like
Good morning,
more
fellow
than
apes and
10% of the
apes.
company.
Sorry.
So, and I love this conversation, but we are all on Discord now. We've got Skull talking there. So, Jefferson, I don't know if you want to come on over and join us all. Zombie Bear, would love to have you. Everyone
I really
else,
wish we had emojis
you as
on
well.
there.
On the way.
I'm sorry,
Gino?
not to
On the
nitpick
way.
opinions,
Yep.
but I do miss that.
Be
from
right
Reddit.
there. Yeah, and sorry guys. I mean, like, look, we don't want to move on over to Discord, but Reddit is shutting down Reddit Talks across the platform, and that's why anyone doing Reddit Talks is trying to get on over to Discord and maintain some kind of
Which is
semblance
fine.
of
He
these
either
live
trusts
talks
us
because
or
they
just
are all
doesn't care.
ending
He's just
March
given up.
21st. So if you haven't already, click the link in the
Based
top
on
comment,
where the
pinned comment,
conversation
and
was at when I
get on
joined
over to the
yesterday at,
Discord.
like,
If you're having trouble
3:30
verifying
PM,
or anything, feel free to ping me.
Yeah, that was
'cause
pretty off topic.
That's what we do to keep spammers out.
Yeah,
But
he's busy
we're
recording
just trying
everything for the
to
FBI.
move everyone on over so no one misses another one of these Reddit Talks.
On a serious note, my Google 105 calls half.
I know Discord isn't
printed.
probably your primary choice of
Congrats
platform,
on a
but
half
it's
print,
the one we've got.
I guess.
The good news is the audio seems to be a lot
GCT is
crisper
already
and
down
cleaner.
6%,
So, it's
so
actually
the
not a
market is
complete
healing.
loss. You just can't throw up the Doge
Yeah, I don't know what the
emoji in
hell
quite the
happened
same
at
way.
Open,
So,
but I'm gonna hang on to
it's a
these
little
Google
different.
calls. I got a good feeling about
So
these
yeah,
things.
for those who are still listening, we are all heading on over to Discord.
I mean, half printing is better than having, so you got that going
Have
for you.
those Doge throws.
What's
and the
your,
funny thing is, if you're
expiration on
real
these Google
retard,
calls?
you can listen to both at
Next
once.
Friday.
Oh,
I
God.
really just.
Oh, no.
I feel like we're crossing 105 by
no,
next
no.
Friday.
No, so
Side
far
note
all we've done
though,
is just
I am
spam
going
Doge in the
to
comments.
type up a
Well,
DD.
she's
I'm
gone.
actually
But
going to put some
I
fucking
mean, that's
effort into
it's
this.
not so bad.
So you know, give me like a gold
I got some
star.
bad
I'm
news
gonna write a
about the
DD on
Discord
air
for me.
taxis and the
I
whole
won't be
air
able to
taxi
use the
industry
Reddit
because
mic.
Trump seems
Every
real
time I try
dedicated
to
to this
use
fucking
Discord
idea.
on my laptop,
And there
it
are
comes out
there's
all
actually
and just I tried cleaning all the ports and
6
everything, and
tickers
it still sounds
directly
the same.
related to this.
So I'm really mad
And they
about
are
that.
all cheap
But
as fuck.
I will be
So
joining
you
on
could
the
really
Discord
throw
very
some
shortly.
flyers in
But
there and not be out a
unfortunately,
lot of
you're
your
not gonna have the same
capital.
clarity because I will be
And
on my phone.
you know, only one
It's
of them has to
okay. I
fucking
think
launch
Reddit,
to be in a good
Discord's
spot.
I
algorithms
like
will
how you
clean it
said
up
that you
probably
need
better than
flyers and
this
it has
one.
to
But
launch, and that was
yeah,
really
I don't know.
clever. You need
Discord's
to
got some
put that
odd
type of wording in your DD.
technical issues too. Like my
Also,
audio comes
whoever the
out
fuck
sometimes a little
said
bit
they'll take potent potables for
stripped.
500
I don't know what the
earlier,
word is.
solid
Stuttered,
reference.
but overall, it's not a decent. It's a
Speaking of
decent platform.
having,
And to
whoever
people who are
wanted
just
to
joining in,
know
like
about
that's
the
we're
interest rate
moving
on
over to
Coinbase, it's
Discord
1%
for
today.
context for all these Reddit talks because Reddit is ending
Well, yeah,
the
you saw
feature
Bitcoin,
here on
right?
Reddit
And
across the
unfortunately, they're
platform. So
correlated.
you know, we're not trying to be weird. We're not trying to just get you all into our private holes and
Price goes up,
do things to you, but it's
short's
actually
gonna
like,
get
you know,
harder,
we
but
can't
then people are gonna bring the rate down.
can't continue these
So
talks on Reddit anymore,
I'm
unfortunately.
not saying it's
Things
not
that
a
we've
good
enjoyed
idea. I'm
bringing
just
to you
saying I don't
for
know
a
if
year
it's
and a
gonna
half.
pan out for you in the market.
I think, Mass,
I mean, I'm
tell me if I'm
fully
wrong, but am I
prepared to run
being
into a
significantly
wall
less annoying than previous
against
days
Coinbase as much
because
as I
our
need
numbers
to.
are not dropping very fast?
Do you
People
at
want
least
to
have
stay
like a stop
on Reddit.
loss in there in case it decides to go full fucking regard
Seems
strength?
like they don't want to move over to Discord. He's probably busy setting
Yeah,
up his mic.
I always have
But
an
yes, I
exit
will
and an
just
entry.
continue telling you then to please head on over to the Discord. Click the
So
Discord
yeah,
link in the
yes,
top
guys,
comments. You know, all the
you need
details
to
are
be
there.
careful
People
with
are
the
saying, let's
liquidity
move.
issue
Nice
that
to crowd
might
together and
happen very soon.
be structured. Cool,
So
yes.
this is a unique situation that we are witnessing
Yeah, I mean,
after
I guess I'll just
2008,
end it here. Thank you all so
2009
very
Lehman
much for
Brothers in the
tuning in today.
US and global
And
markets,
we'll see you all on
and in
Discord.
Eurozone after
now.
2013.
Cheers, everyone.
Because in 2013 we were discussing about breaking up euro. Okay, so now we are about to take the same discussion, not about breaking up the euro, but the consequences of having printed is gonna now blow up, okay, in our faces. So now it's a very delicate situation. This is the first time since 2013, I repeat, 10 years after, you again have a similar situation. So my recommendation here to the audience, so you can protect your portfolio, is please start leveraging on physical deliverable ETF gold. Okay, because if this happens, the only moment where gold really receives all the flow of cash is when systemic risk is here, not when Bitcoin crashes, not when Cathy Wood ARK ETF crashes. That's not a systemic risk. The systemic risk is now, after 10 years, again, we are facing for the first time, I repeat, in 10 years, we are facing systemic risk. You should be buying. I'm going to put in the chat the ETF that actually delivers you the gold. Why this and not a derivative? Because this is audited in the Bullions Vault of London. Okay, so you can redeem, yes, redeem your gold in case systemic risk actually happens. So be careful. And I am posting here. You are the ETF. And then we can also talk in. I will also publish a due diligence on the tree industry. The tree industry is basically timberland, the woods, because it has. I have been talking yesterday with Morgan Stanley colleague. He showed me charts of timberland ETF and companies that basically behave very well in crises such as like 2008, 2009, and 2000 and 2001 bubble burst. I will publish a due diligence. Do you want me to do so? Please tell me.
Yeah,
Thank
that'd be
you.
great. Yeah, I appreciate
Yes.
it.
Yes, please, 100%. Do my due diligence, Daddy.
Hey, angry
Yeah,
investor.
can you
just,
also tell me? Can you also tell me to take my clothes off? The man.
Angry investor, just a little FYI for you. At least on the New York Stock Exchange, any ETF that is a derivative of a physical product, so be it gold, silver, whatever, is required to offer physical delivery in order to be listed. So I hear you saying that like there's an ETF that does that, but any gold ETF that's to like a gold company, but that actually says they're tied to the physical, in order to hit the NYSE, you must offer physical delivery of your product as an option for shareholders. So just a heads up.
Yeah.
And
Thank you very much.
there's a minimum amount of shares that you have to have in order to exchange for the physical delivery.
Yes, you have to read the prospect. The one that I posted, you must the minimum delivery is 10 ounces. You know, an ounce, right? One like
And
a
how
coin.
many shares?
Well, you have to make your own calculation because currently the ounces is trading at what, is it 17 or 1900? Let me check. So
Call it
multiply
19.
that.
So, angry investor, call it 19 at 10 ounces. You're saying you need about $19,000 worth of shares in order to request physical delivery, right?
That's true, my friend. That's very true, my friend. Yes.
Hey, angry investor, I have a question. Have you ever flown, or would you ever recommend Ryanair?
Well, actually, there is I'm doing due diligence on airlines as well, and I can include that for you if you want. But yes, it's not bad company, huh? Not very bad company, huh?
Information.
Just wanted to mention about the gold ETFs. They send you a K1 tax form if you buy them. There's also there's future-based ETFs and the physically backed ones, but they will all send you that.
So since he's saying gold is going to be up, why not options on gold instead of the shares and like the actual material, if it's backed at least?
Because then you are playing in the system. The only reason why I'm recommending that is because the systemic risk that we are about to face, it's a new thing, okay? It's a new thing again. You can take the risk.
Is this to play for generational wealth, or like am I gonna have to hold the gold for 50 years?
No, it's just in case, because if the systemic risk happens, the money has no place. There is no other place than gold. Okay, this happened in 2008, 2009, and 2013. A lot of the central banks in Asia, Russia, China, India have been buying a lot of gold. It's historic record now. You check it. You check it and tell me.
So I think the one, I'm sorry to interject. I think the one difference here between 2013 and the systemic risk is that you're talking about the U.S. dollar versus back in 2013 it was the euro. The euro is not a world reserve currency, whereas the U.S. dollar is a world reserve currency. So the systemic risk is much lower, because essentially if the dollar fails, pretty much the rest of the world fails. So you'd have to be banking on the fact that the world is going to fail in order for the systemic risk of the US economy physically failing and the dollar failing to that degree.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason drug dealers use US dollars. But speaking of gold prices, the gold price now is actually lower than it was in 2011. So, I mean, the price of gold hit a record high in 1980, and then it hit another peak in like 2011, and the peak that it hit in 21 was not higher than 2011. So if all these banks and everybody else is buying up this gold, why hasn't the price gone up higher?
Well, it's based on supply and demand, and like gold is really just a hedge against uncertainty. So I think there's no reason for it to be like a perfect hedge. It's uncorrelated, but I would only put like 7 to 10% of it in my portfolio to act as a hedge.
Also, isn't there some company that's like trying to mine a fucking asteroid that has more gold than like the entire reserve on our planet?
Yes.
Yes.
So something I'll say about mining in general, not just gold, you tend to get more upside if you go for the producers of the product versus the physical product. So rather than going for gold, a gold miner tends to see better returns as the price moves up in general. It's just a thought.
Does anybody have a ticker for that company that is attempting to mine gold on an asteroid? I'm just curious. I'm sure there are more people in the audience that are thinking about it like I am.
Is it ASTS? Come on, is it Satellite Plan with Satellite Man? Is that it?
Yeah, apparently the plan is to build a satellite so huge that when it deflects off of the asteroid, bits and pieces from the asteroid will come crumbling down and they will gather the bits.
Mask, I appreciate that. I love that you know that.
So NASA actually was like, it was a government thing. They sent a probe to asteroid 16 Psyche in 2022, sometimes called the Golden Asteroid. They had a plan to launch to that shit in 2024, and they were going to arrive at it in 2030. That's how long it would take to get there. I think they canceled this plan, but the suggested market price of the asteroid's metals was $10 quintillion.
Astroforge
That's not a
is one of
moon,
the
that's a
companies.
space station.
So Astroforge, which intends to launch through SpaceX on a Falcon 9 rocket.
To be a quintillionaire.
Just Rad and anyone else, just go read the chat right now. If you haven't.
Oh my god, it really is.
I know.
It's journalist again, and he's into physical gold? Oh man, he really is a value investor. You know what my favorite part of this is? I know exactly which YouTube people he listens to and gets his stuff from, and I'm okay with that.
No, and I didn't know the whole story. I know I was there on his last call, and I'll just leave it there because I called him out.
Wait, is it really him or?
Yeah, him and Luce are getting into it right now.
I mean, you couldn't tell that it sounded like journalist if he just slightly like it would be like me coming on this call and being like, "Hi guys, this is not Rad." Like it was a slight voice change.
I mean, I
Hi, not Rad.
so,
Nice to
but-
meet you.
Well,
So
that's
anyhow,
why
we'll
he
keep
asked
moving the
about Ryan
plays. How's
there.
that?
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I don't want to get too long, and that's what's like, just read it, let them hash it out. But we'll move back to plays. How's everyone's portfolio looking? Anyone see any opportunity? Gonna be a volatile type day.
Pretty good. I mean, I just closed some of my covered calls that I sold on the financial institutions that I'm holding right now because the premiums were so juicy yesterday, especially on like PAC-W.
Nice. Yeah, I was hoping someone would say that because with the spike volatility, you got to be very nimble in watching your screens. Good for you. It sounds like you do stops and everything, so even better.
Yeah, I mean, I always I have entries and exits, and I have exits for stop losses,
All right, what the
exits for
fuck is going on?
profits.
I am to honor Luce's arrival. I bought 40 puts expiring in May for PCT because fuck them. That's why.
Oh yes. So we found journalist alt account, did we?
Yeah, it was really obvious.
Opinion.
Is it really?
You summoned him this morning.
Summoned him? Yeah, he tried to come on my server and like copy paste some meta DD.
he does a really convincing Nouriel Rubini, both
From
in
where is he
how he sounds
copy-pasting?
and what he says.
He's still on stage, right? That's
Oh.
him, right below
Oh.
you.
Journalist, the fuck do you want? Is your server not going well? Your fucking scam? Have you charged people yet?
He's trying to pump the gold ETF.
Oh.
The fact that he's not like trying to defend himself, that's definitely
I think he had it. I've had some feelings that it was him, but I called out Ryanair, and yeah, you guys took it from there in the chat.
I mean, I think
Yeah, that
we've
was the
all got
magic word.
feelings, but we don't type about it as much.
Dude, no, it's journalist. Brown Eyes of the Valley. It's definitely him. He's talking mad shit to me.
Well, whenever Georgia Underwood gets on, let's just have Georgia take care of him.
Yeah, I literally said this morning, I was like, if they have a one-on-one debate, then we could just sit back.
The fastest
Steel
talking
versus
person alive.
gold.
It will be the fastest talking person alive versus the slowest talking person. So if you average out that conversation, it'll be at normal speed.
Maybe Georgia can piss in his sink.
I just love that Georgia and Simple can communicate. That's my favorite thing from this week.
It's the best thing. It's like it showed like cross-cultural like love and acceptance. It made me feel better about the planet listening to Simple talk to him. But to be clear, this journalist guy is not the fastest talker. The fastest talker is that nervous dude.
Yeah.
I just want to mention that we have a commemorative emoji for Georgia Underwood that you can now use in the chat.
It's good emoji. I like the meme. It's good. Cultured.
Class.
You know what's funny is Georgia understood everything I said, speaking normally. When Simple comes on, I couldn't understand a damn thing, so I feel like it just means Simple can't speak English.
Nah, Simple was the best. He was talking so slow.
He just had to slow his voice down to the same rate as yours, and all of a sudden it all worked.
Tell Georgia he's got his own emoji. Let's see what he told him.
Oh, what
No,
flare
I
did you
mean-
guys decide on?
You should get that flare. Oh, pisser of sinks, blower of stumps, and jumper of cliffs.
Georgia!
So, Luce, I just figured I'd ask since you're here. Do you think going against Coinbase right now is a terrible thing?
Have they announced
Kristen.
anything like fantastic and new that's gonna, help them do well?
No.
Priced in.
Yeah, no, I think. Let's see. I'm using ConL, CONL as a hedge. That's actually working like damn well. It's basically like 1-to-1 on the upside. So every time Coinbase goes up, I'm just break even. It's pretty nice. So yeah, because of that, I'm like, oh yeah, I can short Coinbase and with no fear.
But
The Bear
Coinbase
Cave
is the
just
only
released
game in town, though.
Sure, but they still got problems, and they need to like disconnect their. Okay, so they had negative margins the last year, and that was from like they were positive in a big way the year prior, and their revenue is too highly tied to the price of crypto. So that's not a good correlation to have. They can make money off the transactions. They can make money off of like spreads by say like staking, but staking is a whole nother problem because now government is coming down on staking regulation. So like every angle they have is like suspect, and I don't trust management either. And I mean, another big red flag, without even knowing anything else about the company, is stock-based comp is like over 50% of annual sales. It's just madness. Like they're diluting the hell out of shareholders. There are a lot of risks to the business. It's too tied to cryptocurrency prices. The Fed isn't pivoting. Like crypto's moving up as if the Fed just said they're pivoting. They're not pivoting. So yeah, and if Con L is giving me like a 1-to-1 hedge, but I still make good money on the downside, I'm gonna short Coinbase forever until I start making money, until something appears. There's a Bear Cave report. I don't know if you guys follow them, but the Bear Cave released an update on their short thesis on Coinbase. Pretty good stuff.
Does it bother anyone that crypto, because I think because a lot of banks have bought into it, it's becoming correlated with the market and being influenced by typical market fluctuations?
No, not really. But also, thanks, Luce. I appreciated everything that you said.
Oh, I have like a specific I don't know. Maybe I'll post some D or something because I have it written somewhere. Maybe in my one of the channels of my server. But yeah, maybe I'll post D or something. My my urinal. Georgia, could you find my DD for Coinbase? It's somewhere in the sync.
Okay, I can't find it.
Yeah, for me, I'm not
that's
in
pretty good.
Coinbase long or short, but structurally, I think the lack of serious competitors, kind of having Binance challenged, obviously FTX go down. I mean, the stock-based compensation is not great. That's probably the biggest, in my opinion, the biggest detriment to Coinbase on the long side. But if you don't really have any competitors, everything's going to kind of accrue to Coinbase in terms of institutional trust, in terms of even investor activity. People are going to want to go to an exchange that has, SEC and kind of, investor scrutiny applied to it. And, it's based in the US, which is helpful.
I get that. Here's the issue. Like here's the big I'm not saying Coinbase is it's absolutely worthless. Like I don't passionately hate crypto. It's not like that. But the risk that I see was the risk that presented itself last year when a few companies started going under because they were highly leveraged. And as they started going under, they started getting margin called. They had to liquidate their assets, which consisted of a lot of crypto. And look what that did, cryptocurrency prices. So all it takes is one more company to be leveraged to the tits that's like a decent size to fall, and it could cause another basically string of margin calls the way it did last year. So I think that's a pretty big risk, look at these like bank runs, for example. Like even if it was only
look
Silicon
at the
Valley.
bank runs.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
I mean,
So like
that's
hang
proof
on.
positive for crypto as
Oh,
a
no, it isn't. Hang on. Let me
thesis, right?
finish. Let me finish my point. Coinbase stock price is highly correlated to prices of crypto. If there are margin calls on the companies holding a decent amount of crypto, and that causes crypto prices to drop, that's going to cause Coinbase to drop. So if crypto prices are crashing, how is Coinbase like a great thing? Do you see what I'm saying? Like if they moved inverse to crypto prices, fantastic.
You made that point already, that it's highly levered to crypto, and I agree with that entirely, right?
It's a massive risk.
Well, but hold on. Let me add one piece of color to that. Not only are they leveraged to it, they are the only, or I don't want to say only, the 99% main way to cash out your crypto in the United States, which is one of the biggest crypto markets. So not only are they leveraged to it, they would have to come up if everybody tried to sell all their fucking crypto, they would have to be the ones to come up with all that damn cash by themselves. And if they stopped withdrawals or they said anything about not being able to withdraw, it would fucking capitulate the whole market.
But aren't they a custodian for all the cash in the Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin to USD pair that trades on their exchange? Like, not everyone's margin trading.
So here's a really simple way to look at it. Imagine the USD is crashing, right? And then all the banks start collapsing. And then JP Morgan is the one bank left. Are you going to buy JP Morgan before that starts to happen because JP Morgan is going to be the last bank in town? Or are you thinking this is going to be really fucked until JP Morgan is officially the last bank around? Does this make any sense?
Well, let me just say that. So you said, if a large institution who's holding a lot of crypto goes under, right? Well, that's sort of like what some of these banks were affected by, right? Like what's a Signature Bank, right? Uh, I think the reason that Bitcoin went up or has shown some strength recently is because that's the exact thesis for why Bitcoin was invented. So
Okay,
I
but
think
you're
like
like circumventing this risk by saying, don't trust the banks, buy crypto. It doesn't mean that risk doesn't exist, even if that's literally what the entire world, like that's how the entire
It's just
world
you're
felt.
eliminating specific types of risk.
Yeah,
And
you're
probably taking
eliminating
on other types in this current stage of crypto. For
Yeah,
sure.
and there's this massive risk that was presented last year that isn't solved by any of these things. Like, you understand? Like, I'm not saying there can't be upside risk. Sure, there could be some people that say, "Well, I like crypto again because I can't trust the banks or whatever," but that's not going to save them from a collapse.
But also,
I think you're also extrapolating to the to a really wide scale significant collapse in which many assets go down. I'm talking about this situation where the federal government steps in and prevents this banking contagion. We'll see if that actually plays out. So far, it seems like they're going to be able to thread the needle. Again,
why are
time
we
will tell.
talking
But
about Coinbase like it's not subject to the banking contagion? The whole point of why crypto was safe was because you could keep it on your person like cash. That it was something that was away from the institutions. When companies like Coinbase came in, all we did was take all of that safety of having your money under your mattress and you put it in Coinbase. Like, it's Coinbase is not like, it's not like your crypto is free to move.
Crash,
So
you remind me of a really good point. So what if I told you that all these crypto companies were keeping their cash in concentrated banks, and those banks are some of the ones that are having insolvency issues? So now the bank runs that you're worried about and saying, "Oh, flock to safety in crypto," you're literally also impacting crypto.
Yeah,
Fucking
that's
irony. Like,
that's exactly what I was trying to say is like, if let's say everybody goes to Coinbase and tries to cash out, their Bitcoin, some of that cash they have to go get from the fucking bank to give to you.
yeah, I mean, look at it this way. Hey, forget everything I said, right? Maybe I'm just a gay crypto hater, right? Look at the Bear Cave report. The guys they outline it pretty damn well. So like, and I've looked at this. I've been shorting Coinbase using options for the past like year, and I've been basically like selling premiums. And I made a shit ton last year, but and I'm still shorting them. But so I've done a lot of research. But yeah, you don't even have to take it from me. Like, look at the Bear Cave report. It's pretty fucking good. And those guys they know their shit, man. They called SVB, they called Silvergate. Yeah.
So I do have one glaring fault in this entire thesis, though, is that everyone's talking about if there is a fail in the American banking system and the U.S. dollar, that Bitcoin is safe. But then everyone says, well, what if you go to Coinbase to cash out your Bitcoin? But so why would you cash out your Bitcoin into a failing USD? Why would you not simply transfer your Bitcoin or your Ethereum to a wallet, because that would then be the more stable currency? And I think that's the part that breaks this entire thesis, in my opinion.
Well, because you need cash to pay the bills. You can't like
Not
pay for
if
your
you have a
fucking
failing.
car in Bitcoin.
The whole argument though is well, if the U.S. dollar fails, so you can't pay your bills with a failing U.S. dollar, because then people
No,
will be like,
you can still use it to pay the bills. It's just not going to be worth quite as much.
right. But again, if the U.S.
underlying
dollar is
value
failing,
of
you're
the
going to
US
see
dollar.
people taking Ethereum and Bitcoin, and that will directly transfer amongst wallets.
Are you seeing this as like an actual argument or more of just like an intellectual exercise?
well, the thing I think that's interesting about this is that he's basically saying there's going to be a run on crypto if there is a run on the USD. and that the only bank in town that has crypto is going to have everyone coming after the crypto they have, which is just like a bank run, because that's the only place where people are trading their crypto.
Right. I mean, that's my main point, is that if there was a run on crypto in the United States, there is really only one bank for that asset, which that's like fucking scary, which is why I could never, I'm just saying that's why I never went long on Coinbase. But my other part of this question as an intellectual exercise is I've always wondered, what is the incentive for the US government to continue to allow crypto to even exist? Like, why doesn't the US government just step in and say,
Like game theory,
by the way, this shit's illegal now?
It's like the same thing. It's like an analogy of like nukes. It's like nukes are bad. Why do we use them? It's like, well, because other people are going to use them. You know, it's like any other tech. You're going to fall behind. And if you're talking about value, monetary value, or payment system value, and the value add that has, if everybody else is doing it, you know, that's a huge opportunity cost, and all that capital flow, all that talent, all the people who want to work on it, all the money that's going to flow into it, all the value add that the payment systems are going to add to your economy aren't going to happen. And you're going to be, you know, here 2 to 3 decades later, and then you just, you know, lost $5 trillion in value that you could have had for your economy. You know, whoops.
There is value in crypto, and there are certain things that Congress is trying to do to slip things in to be able to pass regulation on it.
Yeah, blockchain is being used, period. I mean, Walmart is using supply chain management with blockchain, and they're saving billions of dollars with it.
Depot.
Yeah.
The U.S. Postal Service actually had put a patent in on attaching our vote to a fraction of Ethereum, and that I thought was actually pretty ingenious.
Welcome, Scold.
I just wanted to follow up on
Another
that
good-
conversation. If we're talking about tail risks of runs on USD and like the banking system failing and what happens to crypto, I mean, if we're being real here at this point, I don't think Bitcoin or crypto would really do much for us, you know, if that happened. If we're having that level of crisis, like we're talking like guns and ammo more than Bitcoin, and like seeds having
I
value.
don't think anyone is trying to say specifically that the actual value of the US dollar in terms of buying power is going to like suddenly significantly decrease.
I thought
In fact,
that's
a
exactly
bank
what we're
run,
saying.
think of it this way, a bank run is actually a flight to retrieve your dollars because they have significant value.
We're speaking in feedback loops. I think the point's been made. You could just print your Bitcoin and admire it physically if you know, the world crashes, right?
Also,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, that's the
honestly,
fight for the mint then.
I've been bearish since I've been on WallStreetBets, and that's been for a couple years now. And I've got to say, like, I don't think the banking system is going to collapse. I really don't think that this is every single bank is affected by this. I really do think that this is a mid-sized
No.
regional bank problem.
It's largely impacting financial institutions that were chasing yields in 2022.
Yeah, and it's largely impacting mid-sized financial institutions that have had no oversight for the last 5 years.
I think they've had plenty of oversight, and just, you know, as far as liquidity and capitalization is, you know, goes. I mean, you're
No,
talking about
there
a very specific scenario where interest rates have gone up at the fastest clip in history, and they're in risk-free assets, only taking duration risk. It's not like these banks were doing like, oh my god, like what are you doing? Buying U.S. Treasuries? What? How could you have been doing this whole time? You know.
Yeah,
like
but they're also like throwing large sums of money towards executive compensation. They literally did all the things that Dodd-Frank prevented them from doing all the way up until 2018.
Giving
Sure, but banks like First Republic is also going around giving freaking 1% loans to Bezos for his freaking house. I mean, are you really going to make money on something like that?
I mean, their
No.
default rate on their loan portfolio is like 1/10 like the industry average.
They
Because
also knew
their
for a long
customer
long-
average is much richer than the average bank portfolio.
So are we? I don't know. What are we saying? They're bad people? They're a bad business? I don't know.
No, what I'm saying is that every bank that is there's a group of banks that are between 50 billion and 250 billion in their assets being managed that got real fast and loose after 2018 when they moved the ticker for strict management under Dodd-Frank. So all of these guys got their regulations removed and their oversight removed and started playing fast and loose with their money. All right. And it was a great time to play fast and loose with your money because the economy was going wild. No, the point is that there are a bunch of banks who have over 250 billion in assets, and they are actually pretty damn stable. All right. So you've got banks like PNC Financial and Truist who've got like over 500 billion in assets. They have been subject to very high scrutiny, and they have been playing it safe, but their prices have still dropped. Their stock price has still dropped. Truist was 25%. PNC's.
Can we be more specific though? Because you're saying fast and loose. Buying risk-free assets to me isn't fast and loose. I mean, are you saying that they should have used more derivatives like swap contracts to like hedge their duration risk, or should they just invested in short-term treasuries and that wouldn't have been fast and loose? That would have been conservative.
They should have invested and played a little bit more forward-looking rather than month by month or like quarter by quarter.
The risk management.
The writing was on the wall.
Just say their risk management is horrible. No way should they bought that many of any one bond. Go ahead, Trash.
I think that's what I'm saying. I don't care what method you use to manage your liquidity, but they needed to be more liquid than they were.
I disagree with that entirely. This is not a matter of
Let me
managing
explain it
liquidity.
differently. If you know the value of your house is going to drop by 50% in 3 years, are you going to wait until like 15 days before then and then be like, yeah, like I'm going to sell my house now?
Well, they didn't know that.
Yeah.
Definitely not. I mean, if
Federal
you think
Reserve
last year,
has been publishing like their minutes.
Yeah, but if you
even
remember
that
2018
state
and
the terminal rate
Q4,
that they're seeking to achieve.
yeah, but
More
if you remember
recently, in the past,
2018
like,
and
3 or 4
Q4,
weeks,
there
it
was the
got
taper
updated,
tantrum,
and
man.
it's a little bit higher, but not much higher.
You can't just take the Fed at their word. I understand that they were saying, "Hey, we're going to do it. We're going to do it." But if you remember the last hiking cycle between 2015 and 2018, the market took like spazzed into, during the taper tantrum. This is like almost, what was it, like September through December of 2018,
So,
and the market
it's
crashed like
not that I
20%,
disagree
and
with
Powell
you.
pivoted because the market couldn't handle higher rates, and basically they called their bluff. And I think that a lot of market participants were like, sure, they're going to fight inflation, but they can't actually go that far. And they can't do it at the pace they did it at, and the market can't sustain it. Something's going to break, the stock market's going to crash, and they're going to pivot. And I think that people who spent their entire careers in 0% interest rate environments and risk management thought the probability of that was probably like 99% that it would play out
Yes,
that way.
but the
and they were wrong.
giant difference between 2015 and now is the quantitative easing that happened in 2020. And you can't sit there and go against several $1 trillion of quantitative easing and say, oh, yeah, we're going to fight the Fed and its inflation rate because you want to hold on to more of your money. And that's honestly what's happened. I mean, half of the financial media journalists that are talking about it are all talking about why are people fighting the Fed. And a lot of institutions were fighting the Fed, and they were delaying selling their assets when they could get money for them. Now they got caught with their pants down.
Exactly.
Yep.
All
Yeah,
right. Now
I mean,
that
I
everyone
agree.
agrees. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, they should
everyone
have
agrees.
reduced their duration.
Thank God.
Amen.
All
Does
right.
it matter? We can't even trade that stock anymore.
I think that's what people in the chat are asking.
So my
Yeah.
thing is like, I'm
How
going to
about FRC?
They took way too much duration.
It's
risk.
still
First
tradable.
Republic was way less.
here's the point
Hey guys,
for me.
quit talking over each other, all right? One at a time.
So I'm actually bullish on WBD, and I'm holding shares, but I'm selling long covered calls that are far out of the money and collecting the premium.
Why would you be bullish now? They just lost Last of Us. Well, not lost, but like it just finished. Isn't that what was bringing in subscribers?
Isn't there a new
The
season?
episode's just finished, but so when a season finishes, typically there are plenty of people that will wait to subscribe until they can binge watch everything.
Me, I'm one of those.
Me too.
So while they may perhaps lose some subscribers, they'll gain all the people who just want to be able to watch the full season.
Fair enough.
Luce, you did all that DD on Warner Brothers. What are you doing today? Just still holding the same things?
I don't think Luce heard you. I will
Oh,
say though, if
sorry.
you
I thought I was unmuted. To be clear, I did more research on Warner Bros. The post was just like, "Hey, everybody, let's get a hard on for Harry Potter." Yeah, I mean, I think they're good to go. They are the big focus is for them specifically is not stagnating. So they do have some slight growth coming in this year and next year. Free cash flow that's increasing like substantially. I think we're looking at like a 50% increase in free cash flow from last year, which is fantastic to me because that brings free cash flow yield up to something like 7%, forward, which is pretty damn good to me. And they are deleveraging, so the debt is like a big pain point for them. But free cash flow going up, that means they can deleverage more. So yeah, I think it's looking pretty good. They got a few, I think, pain points with their business. You know, like some of the movies, the DC universe. I still think it sucks, but they got some other good content. So I think they're just cheap. They're still trading at a price to book value of like something like 0.75, like that. Let me check.
Have you been averaging down along the way at all?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna dollar cost average into it. So usually what I like to do is I like to buy long dated calls, leap calls, and I'll sell cash secured puts. And say like for Stellantis, for example, Stellantis was just like running away from me. Finally, it's taking a breather. So because it was running away from me, I just kept buying leap calls. I kept adding. But I was financing those by selling more cash secured puts and following the price up. If I get assigned at any price, I'm fine with that. Specifically for Stellantis, it's so damn undervalued. For Warner Bros, I'm going to be a little bit more conservative because I don't think it's a deep value play like Stellantis, but I think it's a decent value. And I do like the fact that it's it's trading at 0.73 price to book. Pretty damn good. Company's deleveraging. So yeah, it's pretty solid.
Luce, did you sell any that Stellantis took?
Missed like the whole first half of that. What'd you say?
When Stellantis took a dip this week, were you also selling puts?
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm finally, like, I've literally been waiting to be assigned shares since, I don't know, like 8 months ago. I've just been, like, holding calls and holding the price up. So now I'm finally going to be assigned a decent amount of shares. Then I'm going to, once I get assigned those shares, those cash secured puts expire, I'm going to sell more cash secured puts. And then I'm going to add to the calls. For now, I'm looking at January 2024 for the calls, and then I'm selling the monthly puts.
Yeah, I deleveraged from all my puts that were above 1750, and then I'm letting my 1750s ride, but I deleveraged when Stellantis was up.
Now on the subject of Warner Brothers, I got into it probably a little high, like right around their earnings report. I think I got in right before when it was like 1560, but I've been selling covered calls on it to cost average down, and I'll tell you what, those things have been printing because the price has been moving. So you put calls out, when it goes down, you can buy them back. It'll come up in a day or two, and I've just been reselling the same calls 2, sometimes 3 times a week, and it's been one of my best earners right now. I really have to say.
It's a great wheel.
The premiums are juicy, and don't get me wrong, I'm not like for the earnings call. I don't know if you guys remember, but I gave like 3 different types of strategies. Wouldn't you know, the degenerate strategy is the one that lost, but everybody else is winning. Data Gang, which was just selling puts, right? And then, or I mean, you could see it like risk reward. The way is on selling cash secured puts is the same as buying the stock and selling covered calls. It's not exactly the same, but you can kind of see like your profit versus risk, kind of similar. Um, and then just buying shares for the long term. I don't think this stock is going to go on a tear. Somehow it's like bucking the markets right now, but I don't think Warner Bros is just going to go to like $30 a share anytime soon. So I think covered calls is pretty. That's a pretty good way to play it. Me, I'm just choosing to sell the puts instead, but it's basically the same play in terms of profit potential.
Yeah, I sold some puts this week too, and I'm trying to think, when was that earnings? 2 weeks ago, 3? I think I've put up about 50 cents per share on just selling calls and then one set of puts. I mean, it's been going good. It's one of my best.
Nice. Yeah, so hope that answers your question, Jim T. Dot. Yes, it's long term. Free cash flow is going up. Deleverage, get debt to EBITDA under 4 times this year, which will be a good milestone. And hopefully, half of their content doesn't continue to suck. Harry Potter is going to make them a lot of money.
Oh,
and it's Warner Bros. That's how you call it, right?
Warner Sis.
Warner what?
Warner they.
Warner Step Bros.
Yeah, Warner they.
Damn it, stepbrother, I'm stuck again.
Luce, were you looking at Altria earlier this week? I remember you'd mentioned it.
I have shares, and I'm selling cash secured puts on them too. I'm actually selling put spreads.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too. Because I've been selling calls and puts on the shares I have, and I noticed their premium on puts for next week is like freaking juicy. It's 3 or 4 times what I've been getting. I was wondering maybe if you had an idea.
Dividend. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. There's a good drop there. At this price, 8.25% dividend. So don't be surprised the stock price goes down like 2%. But the dividend's safe. They got forward free cash flow, covers the dividend as high as it is, and it's tobacco. We're going into a recession. Tobacco companies are going to do just fine. So, which it's kind of fucked. But hey,
I
I'm
needed
here
to
to make
smoke
money.
this week. I'll tell you what though, they've been chugging along all week. I think today's the only day they've been red. But I would have expected their calls to be high, not their puts. But I guess Friday, you'll get that dip right after the ex-dividend date on Thursday. Is that how that works?
Let's see. Is that the day?
Yeah, the ex-dividend date is Thursday. So once that date passes, like the immediate next day is when you're going to get a drop, at least in proportion to the dividend, right?
23. It would be Thursday. It should be Thursday when you see that drop.
Okay, I'm just trying to make sure I understand this right.
Yeah, and the puts. So, okay, so look at it this way. So the puts should be expensive because if you think, okay, $2 or whatever the dividend is, I don't know what it is. Speaking purposes, if $2 dividend is being paid out Thursday, I know the stock price is going to drop by $2, right? So I'm going to buy puts because I know that's going to happen. See what I'm saying? Like if everyone knows that, everyone's going to pile into those puts. So those puts are going to become expensive. And then it's going to become to the point where it's not worth it to buy those puts. That's why you're seeing the premiums on those puts like so damn high. Then the calls, here's the thing. If you sell covered calls, right? Thinking like, okay, the puts are expensive, but I can sell covered calls just in case because I think the price is going to drop from paying the dividend. Well, guess what's going to happen after that dividend drops? The price of those calls is going to jump up because right now the sellers, call buyers are betting that the calls are going to lose value through the date of record, ex-dividend date, and then afterwards they're going to say, okay, now they're gone. Time for the call prices to go back up. That's typically what you see when dividends are pretty high. And the markets are like actually trading that dividend payment. A good example of this would have been Zim. If you were selling covered calls on Zim before they paid dividend, Then they paid dividend, and the calls that you sold like soared in value, and it was just stupid.
Okay. I think I get it. That makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, like Altria.
And then the stock price drops after the dividends paid, right?
Yeah, sideways stock, big dividend. At least it's, there could be worse picks.
It's also not like law that the stock has to, it's like theory. It's common, stock finance theory that, okay, the stock price is going to drop by the amount equal to the dividends paid out. It doesn't always happen. 99% of the time, it doesn't happen like that. There very well could be a drop. Some days it doesn't really drop, Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're banking on people's behavior, and you're just kind of making the best generalization you can. I think I'm picking up what you're putting down.
I think it's all things equal though, because well, if they actually pay that dividend, that's pretty beefy dividend, and then people are gonna be confident about they're gonna deliver new ones. You know what I mean? It's like you've confirmed that they're gonna do that, so you buy it for the future.
Yeah, you're mopping what I'm dropping. That's monthlies. Oh, plays.
Does anybody dox themselves in this Discord or Reddit?
I don't know. Maybe Georgia.
Sometimes. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Well, I was go ahead. Sorry.
Why? I wouldn't recommend doing it. How's that? I was gonna say.
Well, Luz was talking about book to price and free cash flow, and I've written some white papers on that, so I was gonna share them with them, but I don't know if I want to dox myself.
What bank do you work at?
Citadel. No response must be Citadel.
Who, me?
Clearly Citadel.
I don't know. Citadel gives a damn about price to book.
I'm still looking at Enphase is looking. I know I mentioned I believe yesterday, but they actually pulled back a little bit today under their moving average, and I'm looking to buy some more calls because the next quarterly is looking really good. They're looking at being almost double year over year. I believe their quarterly were 44 cents per share. Q1 2022, they're looking at an estimate of 81 cents per share right now for Q1 2023. And I mean, as far as a year over year, I think that's pretty fantastic. And I do not genuinely understand why there is a current pullback on this stock. So I'm buying some short-term calls on that.
So I brought this up yesterday also when I think either you or whoever brought Enphase up. It looked bearish. It was breaking below the $200 range, and it broke once, twice. It went over 200, I guess, today, and then it dropped back down again. But basically, Enphase and all these solar stocks, they tend to follow the same trend. On right before earnings or during earnings, they skyrocket. They always beat. And it just slowly just drops. It trades sideways, drops, and eventually gets lower until the next earnings. It does that every time. I don't know why. But, I was buying puts on that, so they're doing well.
Just as a heads up, looks like PNC and Morgan Stanley are rumored to be the potential buyers of First Republic. If anybody wants to look into it.
Dude, what do you mean? Acquire?
We're still in talks.
Just Fox Business reported that they're among the top.
Yeah, FRC is looking to sell themselves.
Yeah. Well, they said that a few days ago, right?
Yeah, but it's not looking that likely. And then the way that it was written now seems like, continued pressure, blah, blah, blah. It's so-and-so are emerging as the top. So it's sounding more and more like they're exploring it because of all the pressure on their stock.
Whoever asked if I had more plays, today's monthly options expiration, so maybe Monday. I'm just like rolling and closing out trades.
So who's rumored to buy them? PNC and who?
Morgan Stanley. But I mean, it might not be them. I think there's a lot of people looking into it. So, but those are the rumors.
I'm cutting my big lot short by half today because I've been rolling covered puts on my short. So I don't know if anyone's shorting big lots, but I'm probably going to hold the other half until what's the word? Bankruptcy. Yes. I think the solar stock someone mentioned was Enphase. Is that right? ENPH.
Yes, sir. I just dropped the ticker in the chat.
Word.
Yep, it's down about 7%. My puts are up 80%. Got him.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I might have been a little early on my calls, but I'm just adding more. So I mean, they're stupid cheap right now for April calls. So
Yeah, I mean it's a fantastic stock. Like it's hard to trade it in the short term, but if you play it into the earnings,
yeah, I bought some yesterday as I was talking about it when it hit that 198, and it bounced hard right off that 198. But I didn't quite hit my target, so I was like, oh, okay, I'll hold for tomorrow. And I'm not gonna lie, I did not foresee this coming, so I was like, okay, I'll just pick up some more today.
yeah, I was seeing some unusual activity within the puts for Enphase, and then I know it always goes down before earnings. Like it just does it every time.
Yeah, that does not make any sense. And I mean, like when you're looking at when analysts are literally looking at year over year, and they're like, yeah, it's almost double, and people are like, yeah, we're just gonna buy puts on this. That fucking doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why it does. It's extremely volatile stock. It could go up, down 6%, like in a blink of eye. But you got a month till the next earnings, so I would anticipate downward movement.
Strike prices I was looking at was 310 to answer the chat.
Clear out. If FRC gets bought out, will that help the stock? It depends on the price. Honestly, I'd be a little surprised if there's an actual. I guess it is. What is it like below? Trading at like 6 billion market cap, something. I suppose they could get bought out. I think they would definitely have to pass some regulatory hurdles, and I assumed that the $70 billion credit facility from JP, and then the additional $30 billion in deposits from those 11 banks. I assume like that's it. Okay, we're good to go. So I don't know. I guess maybe there's still a good chance to get bought out, but it just depends on the price. So if you're trying to play that, it seems like Republic is good to go. Like I don't think they're going bust. I don't think, but the fuck am I? But if you're trying to play that, I wouldn't buy calls because you don't know what that price is gonna be, and it could be like you could buy strike 50 calls, and then they're like you're getting acquired for $40 a share, and then your 50 calls go to zero. So.
For the record, I said 310 and I meant 210. I misspoke. I'm sorry. 210 on those calls. That is my strike price.
Is that an attempted Chewbacca?
That was awful.
My puts are at 195 strike,
I did
331.
better yesterday. I did better yesterday. Sorry.
Can I ask how would FRC be bought out? I mean, by which mechanism?
And just what is it? PNC and Morgan Stanley. Is that?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, they could do a joint acquisition, but yeah. I mean, I don't know. Whatever the mechanism
on the market,
is.
would they offer a price for all the investors who want to sell their shares, or how?
Wait, what's your question?
I'm having some issues with Discord, by the way.
So will they just offer a price, a fixed price for all the investors who wants to sell their shares, or will the FRC issue new shares to the bank or to the buyers, or how?
I think I don't think FRC would issue shares, but I mean, this is all speculation. Like, we have no idea. I don't know if there's a good chance.
It
There's
is, of
actually a
course.
good chance of it being acquired. So who knows? I mean, it might be all cash. They're not that big. It might be part shares. There might be another bank that comes into the, to make like a three-way acquisition. Nice, but who knows? There's speculation at this point.
Sell 5.
Aren't those bank deposits that the Fed forced the big banks back to put back into that? It's just like a circle jerk, right? They had outflow to the big banks, and then the Fed said, "Hey, you guys will need to put money back in this one."
Yeah,
Like,
kind
it
of.
doesn't make it any healthier of a company.
I mean, that's one way of
For
looking at it,
journalists.
but it's just it's the price of them doing business, right? That's what they're going to do. They take up, what they did. I think what you're asking is who has to pay for the failed banks or the failed deposits that they're backing. Yes, the other FDIC members are going to pay for that, and they'll split it up so it's even. That's just how they do business, and they always have. It's not a conspiracy.
Yeah, and they're just doing this ahead of time instead of once it fails. They're trying to prevent it.
Yeah, correct. And they were trying to prevent bank runs from happening too. That's why they sent them Sunday. So, but anyhow, what were you going to ask again, Arso Nero?
I wanted to ask journalists something. Journalist, can you hear me?
Oh, journalist.
Angry investor,
AKA angry investor.
Yeah.
aka
Yeah, he was texting about if he wants to be called up on stage, Luce.
He is on stage.
Is he
You
muted
trying to
or?
wake the beast? What do you want? What do you want to
That's
hear?
your man. That's your. I mean,
journalist?
I'll help with you if you need it. But yeah, that's your choice.
Okay, he's not here.
No, he's here. He's just muted. He's in his cage. We put a muzzle on him.
Why did you mute him?
I was gonna say, are
Unmute
we
him.
really gonna go through this again?
Reinstate him.
Okay, dude. Okay, hang on. We're gonna put that to a vote because we had like 50 people saying "fuck this guy," and now one person's like, "Hey, well, I have a question." So why don't we vote? Should we let angry investor / journalist? Should we let him speak again? Yes or no?
Yes.
No.
I don't know what pissing in the sink means.
I say
everyone wants him
yes.
to speak.
We are
All
not.
right.
We are not
Why
that
not?
thin-skinned.
What?
I'll say yes.
Hi, my friends.
What's your name first before you go?
Did you say my friend?
I really appreciate my friend who basically got me and right. Sorry for the noise. I'm in the office. Very busy one. Because all these credit rate issues. Very quickly, I've got due diligence for the property in the UK. I don't know if you guys want to basically give me 5 minutes for that.
Yeah, that's exactly my question. So my question was about the fact that this year another 2 million people in the United Kingdom will have their rates adjusted to the market, right?
Yeah.
It's an awfully specific question.
Yeah. So what?
Staged?
Yeah, specific, please. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. What? You haven't asked the question.
Fucking.
Well,
Christ.
I mean, you.
This is going well.
You guys voted on this, all right? Is this
You
okay?
already.
Another
You
vote.
already
Can we
started.
keep it
Are we
going?
counting the dies from cringe
Yo,
that's
let
going
him
into like
talk.
the chat?
I want to change my vote.
Yeah, how do we change our vote?
We have apologies for voting yes.
A recall election.
Terrible.
Yeah,
Journalist.
there's more no's.
All right, what are the consequences for the guy who suggested this?
Murder.
I prefer the one choice that was presented the other day.
What?
Give us money and then ban.
Yeah, so you won't get banned if you give us
Have
money.
you muted him again?
And then still
That's your
ban him.
house, and then we ban you. Angry just muted himself, so like I don't know. This is democracy. We do whatever you guys want.
I'm
not even mad at journalists because he didn't
all right,
cause it.
give me a second here, all right? Because I have only 2 minutes. So basically, the UK market right now, if you've seen in the charts that I have posted there, that's basically based on the Financial Times report today. We have a very massive lagging in the UK property development market. So there are three companies that basically are unique because I've never seen construction companies with zero debt. So we have 3 companies here that I can basically post a due diligence. That's a fucking deep value play, all right? And if you can picture yourself having a 20% dividend yield when these things comes back, it's totally doable. So I don't know if you want to keep playing your meme stocks or just think seriously about retiring, investing wisely right now, taking advantage of the deep
What are the
fucking
companies?
value opportunities that you have. So let me know, DM me please. I'm going back to the meeting.
Okay, hang on a fucking second.
Thanks,
You haven't
everyone.
said anything. You just said the words deep value and big dividend, but you haven't fucking said any tickers. You haven't said any actual research.
All right,
What the shit are you talking about?
very quickly. I'm gonna just share one ticker because then you ban me as always and you leave me
Likes it
without.
deep throat.
Shut the fuck up and say the tickers.
Yeah, so the ticker is PSN. I repeat, PSN. The company is Persimmon PLC. That's a construction company. All right. Check the balance sheet and you will see lose because I know that you know about value investing. This is a deep fucking.
All right, no more democracy. This is tyranny. I moved into the audience. All right, we got the tickers.
Yeah.
That's what you wanted, right? You got your
That
tickers.
Yeah, that reminds me of like one of those paid, like if you ever go to like stock twits or anything like that, and you get like those paid cheerleaders that are on there just trying to be bearish on certain tickers, and that's what that guy sounds like. He's in like some call center or something like that, where that's where he gets his
he's got
$5 an hour or whatever.
Oh, he's got history, and I'll just leave it at that. Luce definitely knows. But yeah, we got the countdown. Yes. We got no ticker in the first minute. Very journalist-like.
So we took his tickers and then removed them. Genius.
Give us money, then
What was
ban.
the ticker? PSN, he said?
Somebody post the tickers.
Didn't he say there are 3 companies?
He said he was going to say 1 ticker and then said 2, so I was really confused.
Yeah, it was like ESM and PLC or something.
Yeah, but one of them I looked it up and it didn't exist. So
He didn't explain anything.
They're OTC. They're OTC.
Oh,
so,
I see. Gotcha.
So are we doing puts on these tickers then?
Else doesn't speak English very well. The last time we had him, we were like, tell us the companies. And then he kept saying, this is such a deep fucking value. You guys are morons. And like, tell us the tickers of the companies you're looking at. He's like, I tell you, you'll never find companies like this. All you want to do is buy options and lose your money. And it's like, tell us the fucking tickers. And he wouldn't tell us. And he's like, I'll come back and tell you next week. And like, oh my fucking Christ.
Yeah, it was forever.
Yeah, because he's got to buy them, make lots of money on it, perhaps, and then tell people.
Yeah.
So he can close.
Then he says, DM me? Like, what the fuck is this? Like, wait, what is he trying to get feet pics?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good sales tactic. I'll tell you tomorrow.
If you
Come by.
First, I'll tell you about the 3 tickers.
I only have 3 minutes to insult you. Okay, well, hurry up, man. Jesus.
Don't DM anyone for plays. They're like, fucking everybody puts their plays out in the public.
Yep.
We got that out of our system, so we know better now. Thank you, Luce, for letting us play.
I'm sure. Well, WallStreetBets has a memory of about 2 weeks, so I'm sure in a few weeks, everyone will vote to bring it back up.
Can I vote now to bring them back up?
No, absolutely not. The polls are closed.
It's entertaining.
Vote. Stop the vote. Stop the count.
Can I vote for him to be
also a
permabanned?
dictatorship, which is okay.
Make him a mod.
Make him a
mod.
Or not.
You're gonna have to take that up with opinion.
So why did Discord
kick us off?
You mean Reddit?
No, I'm going
They
to.
had a deal with Twilio, and Twilio shit the bed and said essentially, "Hey, we can't continue to support you at the same pricing point." And Reddit said, "We're poor and we can't afford it." And so then Twilio was like, "Your problem, not mine." That's the shortest like TLDR.
I do like Discord better, I must say. I'm glad we're on Discord. Fuck Reddit.
I like being able to see the emojis without having to have multi screens up and things like that in an efficient way.
No, I know somebody who had an internship at Twilio, and all they did was play ping pong and eat chips all day. Like, I don't think they actually like submitted in a project like once.
That's why they need more money. But the screen sharing on Discord is awesome. I love that feature.
Sounds like every
Were you in on
you know,
movie
like
night last night or no?
I missed it last night, but I look forward to attending them in the near future. Apparently, there's one they're trying to do one on Sunday night, and I'd love to attend.
We asked the Reddit admins to in a bunch of features, and we're like, hey, if you're gonna do this for real, there's some features that we think you need that other platforms have. If you don't add them, then this isn't gonna work. And typical Reddit fashion, they listen to none of the suggestions.
Yep, Reddit admins are gay. Not that
Well,
there's
I
anything
mean,
wrong with being gay.
all the admins are prior mods, so it makes a lot of sense.
Where's the music? Opinion?
Opinion, we need fucking music. This is terrible. I'm dying.
Dead air.
So if anybody wants to play like an angry play, bearish shorting and puts on Twilio because they're losing customers.
I thought you meant like angry, like journalist, angry investor. Do you all want to inverse journalists?
Yeah,
That
honestly, that's
PLC
probably
doesn't
not a bad
exist.
idea.
Exactly.
All right, Luce. How deep are you gonna like inverse him?
I don't even understand the tickers he said.
Luce is going deep.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
Are
even
you
forgot he
gonna
existed
deep
already.
fucking value inverse?
I don't even pay attention to him, man. Like I was just letting him talk until he said letters.
Yeah, I just want to be entertained and never play him or revert them.
I don't understand half of what he says
people
when he
actually
doesn't
listen
say the
to what he
tickers
says.
first.
I think
like
there
it.
are a few, Mr. Bumbler. Maybe the few people that listen to what he says are his own alt accounts. I can't confirm that. There's some music coming from somewhere.
Nice.
I think OK Mongoose is playing the guitar.
We have some soothing guitar music, a serenade.
If we were on Twitch, we could send him some bits. You could tip him,
I am 90% sure that is a ukulele.
So my question is, does anybody know how to like disable the sound cancellation? So when I'm talking, you probably can't hear the ukulele as much.
To change the settings in audio so it like captures more noise.
It's called noise suppression in the Discord settings.
Okay, I understand that in that sense, but does that change it so that way I can always hear?
It's essentially it puts no like noise filter on your mic, so it doesn't like try to cancel out background noise. So it's gonna pick up everything, but if like things are getting cut out, then you'll be fine.
When you're talking, they'll get quieter.
Oh, That might be like a system-wide setting. I don't know. Like I know that happens on Macs, but I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Did
like I had
anybody?
a music bot that I had set up on an alternate device.
I see. You don't just use like Spotify or something?
Well, I mean, I have more access to music than I could ever need, but
Fair enough.
not everybody here is like probably willing to pay for like streaming and such of like music.
Oh yeah, I run my own Plex server like to run music for myself, so I don't have Spotify. I was just saying Spotify is like the average person, so I was curious. But yeah, I totally get like there's tons of free ways to like get media out there. Did anybody get any like cheap calls like after the sell off? No, I got a couple YOLOs. I don't know. They're like pennies.
Calls on what?
I
You're
don't know.
learning ukulele.
Oh, my apologies.
Are you just trying to say things while you play, so it picks up the audio?
Yeah, I have like an Amazon 99 and a Meta 200, so it's not like insane leaps, but you know, I don't know. Hopefully a pop. They're very cheap. I got them like 80% off.
Oh, gangbang, Tiger of Trades. I mean, that was supposed to be the last episode of Gangbang. Supposed to go out with a bang. I was expecting more of you there. To be honest,
I was there.
I
Dude,
was
that was
incredibly
fun. That was
surprised
awesome.
the Reddit
That was awesome.
admins. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, sure, we could do another gangbang. It'll probably be on my Discord server though. We could probably get more people, I imagine. Reddit
How
just
were
highs
you?
all talks. Here's Georgia.
Yeah,
Like which Reddit admins are
wanna-
your like best friends? How were you able to sign in the next day?
Wait, how was I able to sign in? Oh, for gangbang. Well, the guy that canceled me, he left, and I think he was just like he was upset. I'm sure he was upset because in the Reddit admin server, he told me to. He was like, "Loose, come on, man, change the name of the talk," and I just pretend to not see it. And then on the talk, which was titled, gangbang time, I said, I said to everyone on the talk, it was like 120, 130 people there. I said, Reddit admins want me to shut down the talk, change the name, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to pretend I didn't see it. Then within 10 seconds, they shut it down because they were in the audience.
Yeah, like I won $1 gentleman's bet. Because I was like, yeah, he's not gonna be banned for it or anything.
No, I had to go big balls with that one to take the risk. I've been banned before. I don't mind.
So you openly mocked the admins. That's good, man.
Well, I did thank them. I put sticky to message in the talk post, and I said I appreciate Reddit admins for being pro free speech. So I showed appreciation.
I did the same thing. Earlier this week, I was banned. Why I got
Earlier
banned.
this week, you were banged? Oh, banned.
Banned
He
from
was
Reddit.
suspended supposedly for a whole week, and he appealed it.
Yeah, I appealed it, and I told him, I said, you guys got to stop pandering to this misguided wokeness, and you should take a cue from Elon Musk and Twitter, and promote freedom of speech. Just because I disagree with someone doesn't mean I'm harassing them. Just because I have a different point of view, so they unbanned me. Here I am.
Quick question.
But what did you do to get
Doesn't
banned?
I don't
Elon,
know.
as an admin, doesn't he also ban people who speak poorly of him? So maybe they were taking a note from his book.
But that's just it. I wasn't harassing anyone. It was just a difference of opinion. I didn't call anyone out. I didn't call anyone a jackass or nothing. I mean, I don't even know they removed the post, so I can't even tell you which post it was.
Look,
but
no
I
matter
don't
what
recall
platform
harassing
you're
anyone or trolling anyone.
no matter what platform you're on, you can never speak ill of their leader. Okay, that is the rule.
Side note, Turkey will ratify Finland's membership in NATO, bringing the military alliance a step closer to expanding. So, calls on RTX?
And NOC.
Getting calls to ban Angry Investor. Opinion, are you still there? Oh yes, it is a free country. You are able to ban yourself. Just wanted to put that.
Hey Georgia, how you doing today? How you like the music?
Georgia.
Yeah. So yeah, the music I could. Well, it's okay. It's not. It's not. You know, it's not like a jazz club, but it's okay.
Judgment
Yeah,
has been
opinion.
rendered.
Where's our jazz bot?
That was too many people talking at the same time.
I don't know what's going on with opinion.
He must be away. But yeah, I think there's a need for a jazz bot.
Yeah. So I was looking at the tickers that were being discussed over at Reddit, and then right near 9:30. And then at 9:30, they all went the opposite direction, with the exception of one. It had a 1 penny difference. That being cycle. What's Scald's long-term short there? Pro cycle.
So from mobile, just be careful because you could send yourself in the audience very easily.
I asked opinion where he is, that he's needed on stage, and he said he's masturbating.
Let him
Is he
have a
at
good
least
one,
listening
man.
to smooth jazz?
I want to turn on cam. Join in.
Checks out.
Hey, speaking of masturbating, I was up super late and I forgot to charge my phone, so I missed like my alarm clock waking up. But can we just like pretend like this is 6:30 a.m. or 5:30 a.m. on the West Coast real quick? Just real quick. I was going to come on and say that like 10 banks tried to bail out 10 banks have tried to bail out FRC. They've got the $2 trillion injection from the Fed, and then they've also got the FDIC trying to bail out all their bad bets, and it's still not enough. So puts on FRC, but again, pretend this is 5:30 in the morning. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I'm waking up 5:30. Yeah, you'd
By the way,
be.
guys, we all should have shorted Enron.
No, I think they got a lot of good things going for them.
Guys, George is trying to speak. Show some respect.
No, people don't have to respect me. That's really not necessary. But what can't we can still have a short position on FRC, except maybe everyone except me. I'm like, I got no space in my account. I can't do anything. I'm not guard. I'm not going to do that for those.
George, is there any opportunity for you to turn up like your outbound? Because I have you on max. I have you on max for everything. I'm actually also increasing like the subs over, and you're still really bad.
Yeah, the weakest is my contract.
Is that to check your volume control, Georgia?
You gotta get that XL, Black Magnum, microphone that's sticking right in your face. Georgia!
I really want your ears.
I don't have a job.
It's about to break back under $2.
Isn't Ray Charles also in the public domain yet?
He hasn't had long enough.
Whoa, so Europe isn't supporting strategies.
Well, no, I think Europe is, right? I don't know. Is that the news?
Yes, Swiss National Bank is with $54 billion francs.
Well, I meant like in buying shares, not like liquidity. Huge difference. So if they're giving them liquidity, they're not necessarily fixing all the problems that Credit Suisse is going to continue to do. And that's what seems to be the opinion of Europe. Why not acquiring additional shares?
There you go with your confidence.
I know rationale is hard.
So my plan here is to start talking about crypto so we can shed these last 4 audience members so that way I can show you guys my amazing Hawaiian shirt that I'm wearing this Friday. Anyway,
Take a selfie and post it in the comments.
All right, one more to go. Oh. Go ahead, Sol.
I suspect that Credit Suisse may go the way of Lehman Brothers in the sense that they'll be allowed to take on all these debts and obligations and then go under, effectively wiping out all the obligors. It's sort of like what EU did to Greece and the other PIGS countries in the mid-2000s.
I agree with that.
Speculation, of course, but it's not exactly outside the realm of possibility.
I do like that you can at least see which speakers aren't listening. So like spoiler, completely not listening right now. Bulbasaur, completely not listening right now. Or Copper.
Journalists completely agrees with the party. They say he's a very smart man.
They may be at work, maybe on the call.
No, I know.
How can you tell they're not listening?
I'm on conferences all day.
It shows that they have their headphones muted, at least in the case of a few people mentioned. Ban these fake Bell Wangs. The request from the chat.
I see it as who is singing? Are you singing? Okay,
It's a
Mongoose?
That would be
compliment to you.
okay, Mongoose. Let's go ahead and put them in a timeout.
I think he was trying to serenade us, but the
Yeah,
singing,
he was
singing,
playing
you gotta.
ukulele earlier, and I think he just put some tunes on. He's been trying to offer some tunes.
Yeah, that's
Since
okay.
opinion's not doing it.
Yeah, true. Opinion's supposed to be here, but he said he's remote masturbating right now.
I think he's talking to Ken Griff right now.
Wait, how does that work?
Remote masturbating?
Remote? So that implies someone else is doing it for him from
Oh,
another
he
place?
wishes. No, he said he's remote.
Well,
He can't mess with Discord right now, but he also said he was masturbating.
I got a new
Oh.
Japanese kissing bot. You might be testing that one out.
Oh, I'm sure you can use that for like other than kissing.
That was the implication.
Anybody looking at big lots today? BIG, financials are a mess. Dividend is massive, and it just dropped below March 20 COVID pricing.
Yeah, Lou said he was shorting it
Still
earlier.
bearish.
What did I
I'm
say?
sorry I stopped. Please continue whomever was speaking.
Thank you.
We interrupt this show to bring you important information. Spies at 389.
Gold, are you still holding those 390 calls?
Unfortunately, yes.